Hello everybody, this is Percy. Currently, I'm in Vietnam, and in this video, I'm going to share my experiences and my insight about Vietnam, both the parts that I like and the parts that I didn't like so much. Spoiler alert in the very beginning, I really like Vietnam in general. But of course, there are some things that I didn't love. And I want this video to be like a conversation between you and me. I'm not going to put fancy effects and all. I'm just going to share this video with some minor edits and share it with you. So if you want to go to Vietnam or interested about going to Vietnam or planning at some point, I think this video might be helpful. And just to give you some context, my name is Percy. I'm originally from Istanbul, Turkey, but I live in the US right now. I lived in different countries, so I do consider myself quite worldly and a world citizen in the general sense. And I'm shooting this video on June 30th, 2024, and I'm in Vietnam since the last 2 weeks. I entered Vietnam by land border from Laos, which a country that I really enjoyed as well, and I plan to make a video about it. But this video about Vietnam is my first descriptive travel video. So one of the first things that I really like about Vietnam and Southeast Asia in general is that people are very hospitable. Especially if you're Western looking, people are interested in you, people want to talk to you, and they're very hospitable. They almost always genuinely want to help you. Just a very small example, in my first days in Vietnam, I think I was in Dien Bien Phu, close to the Laos border. I was walking and it started raining very heavily at some point, and I took shelter under a shop. And the shop owner saw me and came outside and gave me a little chair, like one for these kindergartners, so I could sit while I wait out for the rain. That was real nice. And I have more than 10 examples like this. Vietnamese people are genuinely nice and they genuinely want to help you. And they're extremely hospitable as well. I have stayed with some Vietnamese people through apps like Couchsurfing, and they always want to feed you, they want you to drink with them, they want to join their parties. So I feel really comfortable here. And usually they're not over hospitable. Like they're not hospitable to an annoying level or suffocating you, always asking, is everything okay? Is everything okay? They also give you your space at the same time, but they're very hospitable. Regardless, they know you or they've just seen you on the street. One of the things that I do not like about Vietnam, and this is something cultural, so it's just about me, I'm sensitive to sound. Like, I don't like loud noises. I don't like when somebody's phone rings, or I really hate it when people listen to music on their phones without headphones. And people in Vietnam, especially guys, are very loud. So when they speak with each other, even like a normal conversation, it feels like they're shouting at each other. And this was something that really bothered me in the very beginning. But at some point, obviously, I said, it's their culture, I'm in their country, so it is my job to adjust them, not expect them to change for me. But culturally, they're quite loud, especially guys. I don't see women being loud here. And this is something that I do not love. When they speak to each other, they're like "Bah, bah, 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 bah," a lot. And yeah, I try to avoid it. But when you're in a bus or in a train, obviously, you cannot, only with your headphones perhaps. As you might have guessed, prices are very cheap, and there are not many places that would try to screw you over. So that's also good. So when you go to a local restaurant, you can have a real nice dinner for $1, $2, $3 US. I mean, more than that is a lot for Vietnamese standards. For example, today I went to a very famous sandwich shop and I got 2 sandwiches. Each sandwich was around $1. When I go to a nice local restaurant, I pay $2, $3. I think the highest I paid so far was a street hot pot place, like you do your own, cook your own barbecue kind of place. And there I had a lot of meat and I had some drinks and I paid $10. So, I mean, even the most expensive place that I ate in Vietnam was $10, but usually I pay $2, $3, $4, $5 per meal, and I'm not like really pushing the cheapest place. It's just an average place in Vietnam. Also with accommodation, right now I'm in a very nice private hotel room. It's $10 per night. Because I work digital, I usually prefer to stay in hotels where I have privacy instead of hostels, but I've stayed in hostels for a couple of times and I paid around $3, $4 as well. When you rent a motorbike, it's around $4 or $5. So yeah, it's pretty cheap in general. And one of the things that I really like, and this is something that really annoys me in some other countries, like for example in India, it happens a lot. I don't want to diss India. I do love India in many aspects, but there are some things about India that I really don't like. Here, people leave you alone. So when you walk on the street, people say hello. They ask where are you from and all. But 99% of the time, that's because they're genuinely curious about you and they want to get to know you and just say hello. They don't ask where are you from and then try to sell you something. They just ask where are you from and then they leave you alone. They don't nag you constantly. I've only seen like 1 or 2 times where a motorcycle taxi stopped and he asked a couple of times, but after the second no, third no, like worst case, they left. When you go to really touristy spots, that happens a bit more, but in a normal street, they would say hello. But that's just it. They want to say hello. And I like that. Like they leave you alone. They leave you in peace. They don't bother you. When you say no, they understand. And I think that's very important in a country. And another good thing is that people don't try to scam you. So if you go to a local restaurant or in a restaurant, they treat you exactly like they would treat a local person or a Vietnamese person. They're not like, oh, here's a tourist, let's scam this person. Almost always, they're very decent, honest people in Vietnam. And this makes me feel very comfortable when I'm in the country. And as I said, people are genuinely interested in getting to know you, even though Vietnam has been a touristy country for a while. Like if you're a Western tourist, they do like to get to know you, especially children, and it's super cute. Like children with their families driving in a motorbike passing by, they say hello when you walk. They look at you curiously. They say hello. I like to like high five them and say hello and interact with them. So this is something that I really like, but also adults are interested in you. Senior people are interested in you. Children are not as subtle, obviously. So I have the chance to interact with them more and say hello and do high fives with them. And this is something that I enjoy as well. And generally, people are shy. I mean, again, guys can be very loud, blah, 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 but especially as a foreigner, when you say hello to them, they really try to help you and they're shy and they never overstep. They're never disrespectful. And also because it's a shy culture, I personally don't try to be too interfering. I don't try to bother them too much as well. So if they want to interact, I interact, but I try not to do anything that would make them feel uncomfortable, like too much chit chat and all, because they're very polite as well. They would never say, no, I don't want this, but they're also very shy at the same time. So it's something that you can take into consideration while you're here. It is the end of June right now, and it is quite hot, like the whole trip during Vietnam. It wasn't crazy hot, but right now where I'm staying, it is around 35, 36 degrees Celsius. That's around 85, I guess, in Fahrenheit. So it is hot, so maybe this is not the best time to visit, but it is the best time in terms of it is not very touristy right now. So wherever I go, it is not very crowded, and I like that. I don't like very touristy places. I don't like to go to a city and just to see the whole city catered for tourists, like with tattoo parlors, coffee places and all. I like a little localness as well. Of course, I enjoy good infrastructure and being comfortable, but I don't like when the place is completely touristy. In terms of payment, they don't use a lot of credit cards here. I don't remember really paying with my credit card, only like once or twice, I guess like in a big chain like Starbucks, or I think I went to KFC once. Apart from that, I almost always used cash here. I mean, in the US, that's one of the things that I really like about the US. You don't have to carry cash at all. You can pay everything through your phone, through your credit card. Also Turkey, where I'm originally from, almost everywhere except credit cards. That's not the case everywhere in Southeast Asia as well. And in Vietnam, yeah, people mostly use cash. So you have to make sure that you have enough cash and do not rely on your credit card. When I go to a country, one of the first things that I do is that I get a SIM card because I need to be connected. I don't want to rely on Wi-Fi only. The connection here in general is very good, and the country is very well connected actually, and that's something that I enjoy. Even if you go to like a very small local restaurant or a cafeteria, there is a sign saying this is the Wi-Fi connection, which I didn't see in Laos, not even in Thailand. But here, like everywhere, you can find Wi-Fi, not in the middle of the street, but in a shop, in a restaurant, you do. But I do also like to have my own local SIM card. I don't use eSIMs because for me, they're not reliable and they're a bit too expensive. Like here, for example, I paid $5-6 for Viettel, the company. It is 5 gigabytes per day for a whole month. So it's basically nothing. And the connection is very good. So whenever I'm outside, whenever I need it, I just hotspot my phone because I have two phones, one with the local SIM card, one with my original SIM card. And yeah, I use the internet. So that is very important for me. So if you would like to stay connected, I would recommend you to get a local SIM card. There are many companies. The one I got was Viettel. I guess that's the biggest one. And yeah, you can enjoy being connected for a very, very, very low rate. And another thing that I've noticed in Vietnam is that Vietnamese people like to drink a lot, especially guys. They drink in the morning, they drink in the evening. I stayed with two Vietnamese guys and their families. They wanted to take me out to drink every day. Like the first guy in Hanoi went to an open air restaurant and we drank like 6-7 beers. I don't like to drink too much, but I don't get drunk easily as well. So my tolerance is high. And people in this region, Asian people, usually they're not alcohol tolerant as much as us Western people. So they do like to drink, but they also get drunk easily. I've also seen that in China, in Japan. But yeah, alcohol is a big part of the culture here. They have their like local liquor and that tastes like cognac, but beer is very popular here, so they drink a lot of beer. I was in another small town and stayed with a guy as well, and he said that he and his friends are going to have a party at one of their houses, and we went there, and there we drank a lot. Like I think I drank like 10 glasses of beer and a few shots of their local drink because every single guy wanted to make a shot with me. At the end, everybody was drunk. I was a little tipsy, but wasn't drunk still, so that was good for me. But yeah, they do drink a lot and they want you to drink with them. My host in Hanoi said like a few of the guests that he hosted didn't drink, and he said he found it very boring. And another thing that I've witnessed is that tipping is not a big part of the culture here. Like I tried tipping for a couple of times. The people gave me my money back. But I've spoken with other people about this and they said they tip and the service people were happy with it. So I guess it's just my experience that I've been to a couple of restaurants. I tried to tip them. They didn't understand what the extra money was for and they gave me back the money, and then I stopped tipping altogether. But it's not a big part of the culture. They don't expect you to tip here. Also, generally in Asia, you don't have to tip. It's not like in the US. I tried to tip a couple of times and they gave me my money back. No tipping, I guess, but I guess it depends on the place and the experience as well. So yeah, this is more or less my experience on Vietnam. This video is around now 15 minutes, just around the time that I wanted, not too long, not too short. So I hope you enjoyed it. I plan to do similar videos like this because so far I've been to 103 countries. So potentially I can do 103 videos, even if I do separate cities even more. And I share my experience. It's also a little like a diary for me. But in general about Vietnam, I'm really enjoying the country. I like the vibe. I like the people. It's safe, secure, cheap. People are nice. So I will spend one more week here, and then probably after that I'm going to Cambodia, where I've been before. But I'll keep making these videos. But about Vietnam, if you have any questions, if you have any comments, if you have anything that you want to add, or if you don't agree with anything, or if you agree with anything, please share on the comments, and I would love to share experiences with you guys as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in another. Bye bye.